4 Craigslist horror stories animated. Y'all know I hate horror shit, but I'm gonna put myself through the pain. 23 minutes. Yeah.
As all of you know, life can be a struggle sometimes.
It is.
Making ends meet
all the
isn't
time.
always as easy as just getting a job. Several years back, I couldn't find a job. It was...
She look good to y'all? Even though she's a 2D character, she look good to y'all? Like, y'all fucking type shit? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all gonna hit real quick? You know what I'm saying? Like, hit and dip real quick? You know what I'm saying? Nut and lead real quick? Y'all doing that to this? Y'all tapping? No? Okay.
Rejection after rejection.
All right.
And at the time, nobody was really hiring, and the few places that were hiring were very ultra-competitive. I was barely making over minimum wage as a deli employee at a grocery store. I remember one night I was working online for ways to make extra money, and I ended up stumbling upon Craigslist.
Why she got her looking
I'd
so
heard
tired,
of Craigslist, but never really explored it for myself.
Oh my goodness.
I found an ad on Craigslist for
car service person needed, professional painter needed, looking for secret shopper, cashier, customer service. Okay.
a freelance job where I would be what's called a secret shopper. For those of you who may not be familiar with what a secret shopper is,
Yeah, because what is that?
it's basically an anonymous customer who comes into a store and asks the employees a series of questions. The employee is then graded on certain criteria. For example, does the employee make eye contact, greet you, give a suggestion, offer to escort the customer, and give a parting comment, etc.? It seems simple, but a lot of companies, specifically the store I work for, will reprimand the employee for a bad secret shopper score and even fire the employee if they get more than one bad score.
Really?
Since I had experience in a store and I know exactly what they're looking for, I thought that this would be an easy way to make some money on the side. The first store I visited was a local chain of grocery stores in my hometown. Oddly enough, it was the same company I worked for, but not the same store, though. I started making my rounds and noticed a man, probably in his 20s, stuck
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
on the shelves.
Gosh,
He looked at
Patrick.
me and immediately put his head back down. He didn't greet me, so he got points off right away. I had to
Like, bitch, who are you to come into some other nigga job? Like, you should know the struggles of this shit. I know you in your job, you wasn't perfect, bitch. You was probably slouching around just like that, nigga. You was looking at customers like, yes, bitch, fuck you looking at? Take a little ugly ass kid, go to the toy section, bitch. Like, I know you was over there acting like that too. Don't act like you all Miss Perfect and shit.
greet him and ask him where the canned tuna was.
Cause you look tired as fuck.
He never lifted his head from stocking the shelves and just sort of angrily said, "Aisle 2, halfway down." Again, this guy lost points for not making eye contact and offering to show me where it was located. Also, just for the record, I know how ridiculous all of this is, but these stupid companies take this junk so seriously. They don't care if you're waiting on another customer or what the excuse is. If you get a bad score, you're kind of screwed. I was trying to pause and give the guy a chance to redeem himself by telling me to have a good day, but he never did. And I eventually had to initiate the parting remark, and that's when he finally looked up and said, "Yeah, you too." And I finally saw his name tag and wrote down on it was a name, Patrick. And I smiled and walked away, and I noticed that Patrick kept his eye on me.
Whoa,
I felt his stare as I walked away, and
Whoa,
I started
Patrick.
to figure that he was on to me, that I was maybe a secret shopper. I was going to ask a few more employees questions, but I started to feel uncomfortable. Every time I looked up, I could see this Patrick at the end of the aisles.
Wait, are these real? Yeah, they're real. They're just animated. 4 Craigslist horror stories animated. I think they're real.
It almost seemed like he was following me. I wasn't sure what the end game was for this guy, but I didn't want to find out. I cashed out, and the cashier passed her secret shop with flying colors, though. And after I cashed out, I briskly made my way to my car, and I just wanted to get out of the store so bad and be done with this. Once I was in the car, I started writing down the full report before I drove off. I just wanted to get all the information down while it was still
I would have
fresh.
skidded out of there. You're
But while I
wild.
was writing, I looked up and saw my buddy from the aisle,
Patrick.
intensely walking through the parking lot. Patrick. I ducked down a little bit, but thankfully it didn't appear like he had noticed me. He just kept walking until he got to his car, which was a dark 4-door sedan of some kind, and he sped off, and I waited a few minutes before I departed.
Okay,
I
good.
don't know why, but this guy just gave me the creeps, though. I kept thinking to myself, why was he following me around the store like that? If he
But I thought he was
really
a bad
was,
bitch.
but it truly did feel like he was, and it just felt so
Probably thought
weird.
he was a baddie. Baddie,
I'm a
baddie,
textbook
shot o'clock.
overthinker, so I tried telling myself that maybe I was overthinking, but something about him was just definitely off. That night, I went home and I emailed my supervisor the report, and life went on. It only took a day or two for me to completely forget about that interaction. A few nights after I turned in the report, I was having a late-night dinner with my boyfriend. We were just hanging out, enjoying each other's company. The relaxing evening was
What
interrupted
the
by a
hell?
loud...
Hold on. What the fuck niggas gone they play? Whatever this is, and then hot dogs. Mustard, no ketchup. Fanta. Y'all niggas disgust me. And what kind of cup is this? What kind of lid is this? Like, is this supposed to be like plastic on the top? Like, I'm so confused right now. What am I looking at? I don't know. What type of what are we looking at?
out enjoying each other's company. The relaxing evening was
That shit cannot be
interrupted
good.
by a
I know that
loud
shit
and
dry as shit in your
consistent
throat.
banging on the front door. It wasn't just an aggressive knock either. It was like the sound of someone throwing their entire body weight at the door.
If my
You
boyfriend
have
don't get
no
up and
idea
do
how
something,
horrifying it is to hear a knock at the door at that hour, let alone a banging knock like this one. We looked out the window, and I was at a loss for words.
was it
It was
Patrick?
that Patrick guy from the grocery store.
Oh, he definitely
And he
lost
looked
his job,
horrible.
and he's coming for
His eyes looked
revenge.
like they were sunken in, and he looked like he hadn't slept in days.
Run.
I called out telling him to leave right now, that I was calling the police, and he didn't even flinch. He just kept banging and demanding that I let him enter
Yo, y'all
the
don't got
home.
a strap?
Repeatedly, he kept saying that I ruined his life, and that I needed to pay. That there would be an eye for an eye, I remember him saying.
How do you
I
find out
didn't
where
even
you
want
live,
to
though?
think about what he meant by that. And while this interaction was happening, my boyfriend had called the police, though.
I'm saying, like, yeah, like,
They
what
must have been in
the
the
fuck's
area because the
NYPD?
first squad
New York?
car showed up in less than 2 minutes.
that? New York?
And it's a good thing, too, because I don't know how much longer my door was going to hold up. Patrick was really throwing himself into the door, and this whole sight was nuts. A cop tackled Patrick right on my front steps and handcuffed him,
That's
and while they
scary,
were
though.
apprehending him, they ended up finding a knife
What?
concealed in his waistband, which for me was the most terrifying information about this entire ordeal. I still can't stop thinking about what he intended to do with that knife if he had broken down the door. After he was arrested, I did get some closure on this whole nightmare. It turns out it was just a situation of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Apparently, Patrick was at the end of the cliff, and my visit to the store that day was what forced him to fall completely off. He was struggling to pay his bills, and from what I was told, his girlfriend
so
had
he's
just
a
broken up
loser.
with him the day of that secret shopping event. And
Oh,
when
so
I
he's a
approached him in
loser.
the store that day, he was only minutes away from the end of his shift and was just mentally completely done at that point. I get it. We've all been there.
No,
Well,
I've never
to
been
a
there.
degree.
No.
And I
No.
happened to catch him on a bad day, and asking for a can of tuna was the last thing on his mind. He ended up losing his job because he had failed another secret shopper report, a report that I sent in.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Some
The
people
part
be
that I
having
can't
bad
still
days,
figure out about
so you
this
can't blame-
is
you can't blame
I
people
have
for that,
no
though, but still.
idea how he found out where I lived.
Exactly.
I don't think he followed me that day after the store, but there's no other way that he would know where I lived. I stayed at my boyfriend's house after that night, and I rarely stayed at my old house alone. I don't know what happened to this guy, but I genuinely hope that he figured it out, and more importantly, I hope these stores get rid of the secret shopper program because it's just horrible.
That's crazy as hell. That's crazy as F.
Not long ago, I decided to listen.
I ready to shoot a nigga, bro. That's what I'm saying. I might gotta get a Glock. I might gotta get a gun, bro. Like, I might gotta get a gun, bro. I might have to get a gun.
Listened to a friend of mine about picking up some babysitting jobs from Craigslist. I know that seems weird, but I was surprised at how many postings for that type of work were on there. Ordinarily, I wouldn't have needed the job, but at the time, I had just broken up with my boyfriend, and
Okay,
I
you
didn't
single?
think that I was going to be able to pay my rent.
So you like bitches? I can put you on with a date.
It seemed like the easiest way to make some
I'm
money.
literally just talking on my mind.
It helps that I used to
Talking on my
babysit when
ass,
I
I'm
was a
sorry.
teenager, and my brother has two small
sorry.
kids, so I felt like an expert in the field. After all, how hard could looking after some children for a few hours be? I set up a job for early Saturday evening, and I started messaging a woman named Chloe. The woman said that her and her husband would be leaving the house at around 5:15 p.m. and they would be back sometime after 10.
Husband.
She
Niggas can't spell right? What's going on?
gave me the address and all the information about the children. I would be watching two boys, and one of the boys was 7 and the other was 9. I was figuring that this was going to be easy money. In my opinion, boys that age are easy to entertain, and because they were babies, they wouldn't need my undivided attention.
Trust anybody watching my kids.
After I talked to the lady, I told my friend about the job, who was jealous.
Cause you don't know who is wanting to do what to your kids, bro. If it's not a family member or someone that I don't trust, you're not watching my kid. A random ass nigga off Craigslist, that nigga might throw my baby out the window like a football. No, I'm good.
So the money that I was about to make. She had been doing the Craigslist babysitting jobs for a few months now and had never come close to the money I was about to make, or at least told that I was about to make. On Saturday evening, I made my way to the address.
Prediction for this. What if her friend is the person who's going to come in and do all the weird shit that she's about to experience?
Given to me by Chloe. And right away, I had some regrets. The house was in a very sketchy neighborhood. Not necessarily crime-ridden, but it was a poor and run-down area. When I knocked on the door, there was no answer. I waited for several minutes and attempted several more knocks on the door when, finally, a strange and very rough-looking man answered the door.
Yeah, sis,
he was tall and skinny with this massive gray beard.
Sorry, I have the wrong door. Back the fuck up. Back the fuck up. Just imagine there's a Glock right here. Back the fuck up.
I would say that he was at least in his 50s, unless he just looked rough for his age. And in this very low and gruff voice, he said, "Come on in, sweetheart. Sorry I didn't hear the knocks. My ears ain't what they used to be." I walked inside, and the first thing I noticed was how not child-friendly the house was. A lot of trash and just general clutter was lying about. And I was just standing in front of the door, and the man
There's
then
no
says,
children.
"My wife should be back any minute with the kids. Go and sit down and make yourself at home. Sorry, I know the place ain't the cleanest."
There's no children.
Not to be judgmental.
Leave now.
I know it sounds like I should be running for the hills, but I didn't want to unfairly judge this guy or his family. And the man pointed.
Sometimes you really gotta do that, bro. Sometimes you really gotta do that. And honestly, I can understand why some people stereotype black people. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I understand why. For example, this happened to me before. If I walk in a store and a manager gonna walk behind me to see if am I stealing or not, nigga, I'm tall with dreads. You know how many niggas that's tall with dreads that's criminals? That's hooligans? I don't blame you. But please don't get mad when I catch an attitude with you and I want to beat you in your face. I understand why you're doing it. But I'm still going to get mad because I'm black. I'm going to get mad. Like, I have to get mad. Like, that's something I have to get upset about. If I don't get upset at that, black Twitter or, like, black people on the internet going to be mad at me. And I feel like the Dr. Umar Avengers, them niggas would be coming to me and trying to, you know what I'm saying? So I have to be mad. So don't be mad at me if I'm mad at you.
Down the hall and told me that the living room was in the back of the house. I made my way back there and sat on this bluish couch. The amount of anxiety I felt at this moment was absolutely crushing, though. I saw no pictures of children, no toys, and no indication whatsoever that children even lived there.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta get out of this.
While I was waiting on the couch, I could hear the man walking back and forth in the other room, and I think he was mumbling to himself. Every few minutes, he would begin to shout, "Hey, sorry about this, ma'am. My wife can be forgetful with the time. I promise she'll be back soon." A few minutes later, he ran into the room scratching his head. With this big smile, he said, "You know what? I'm an idiot. bet my wife came inside with the kids through the basement entrance. She's probably waiting for you down there. Nobody uses...
Yo, you gotta be dumb as shit if you actually go downstairs, bro. You're actually a retard if you go downstairs, my nigga. Niggas is not, no. Niggas is not doing that. We're not doing that. We not doing that, bro. We not doing that.
You came in, and the basement's right over there. Why don't you go check it out, and I'll meet y'all down there in a minute. He stood there like some scarecrow, pointing to a door on the far side of the room. I didn't know what to do and just nodded and told him I would go check, and truthfully, I had enough at this point, though. He smiled and in this very unsettling voice says, "Well, that's great. I'll see you in a second, sweetie."
You out of here,
he
bro.
walked back into the front door.
Don't.
I opened the door to the basement out of curiosity, and it was obvious that nobody was down there. The lights were off, and the smell was just horrific when it hit my nose. There was no chance I was going to go down there.
Exactly, bro.
And while staring into the dark basement, I heard that he was still bumping around in the front room, and without thinking, I ran as fast as I could toward the front door that I came from.
As you should, bro.
Once
Get
I
out
hit
of
it,
here, bro.
the door was locked. I quickly unlocked it and ran for my car.
Oh, I was about to say.
As I opened the car door, I could hear him yelling from inside the house, but I didn't look back.
Hell no, yeah. Don't
I started
even
backing down the driveway, and I could see him running out of the house, waving his hands back and forth. And thankfully, by the time he reached the driveway, I was already flying down the road. I almost didn't call the police because technically I was physically fine and maybe even overreacting. But after calling my friend, she convinced me to call the authorities just in case. After the phone call, I had no idea what had happened. The dispatcher on the phone told me that they would take it from here and that was the end of it, at least on my end. Maybe there was a wife and kids. Maybe this was just a poor family that I just very unfairly judged. Maybe there really was an entrance to the basement that his wife used instead of that front door. But honestly, I'd rather look like some crazy jerk who judged the family than potentially be the victim of something very much worse.
Exactly. So when I judge you, black.
The unnerving nature of the situation told me to run, and I stand by that gut feeling. That very well could have been the best decision of my life.
Last year, I was trying to sell my 2007 Mercury Mariner.
Who is this?
It was in pretty good shape, but had a lot of miles.
This is not the guy who was talking previously with the nice warm voice.
It ran very good and is a good car. I decided to list it on Craigslist because I've had experience buying cars on there before. When I had used Craigslist in the past, it had gone pretty well. So I took several pictures of the car and then listed it. The next day, I didn't get any interest at all. But on the second day, I got a response to the ad. The text message came from a man saying that his name was Al and that he wanted to buy the car. He seemed pretty confident about it right away. I was asking a pretty reasonable price, so I gave him my address to come and look at it.
That's where niggas fuck up. You gotta go to a neutral location with cameras, a Walmart parking lot, a Target parking lot, a shopping center parking lot. You gotta go in the middle of the day, bro. You gotta go to in the middle of the day, bro. If niggas can't meet in the middle of the day, bro, then you can't get the car. If you want it that bad, you gonna meet me in the middle of the day for it, bitch ass nigga. Niggas is not finna sit here and try to trick me. Like, what? And I'm still bringing my gun, because niggas is still weird. Niggas still do anything anywhere. I'm pulling out my shit, I'm whipping it on his forehead, and that's it.
Apartment building.
That's it.
I didn't think it was a big deal to give out the address, because there were several buildings in the complex. My car was already parked out in the parking lot, and the guy would have no way of knowing which apartment was mine. So I asked Al when he was free, and he said he could come by the next day after work at 9 p.m. I said okay, and then I cleaned up the car and got it ready for selling. The following night, I left my apartment building and went to my car in the parking lot. Al showed up shortly after and parked nearby. He got out, and I met him by my Mariner. I was a big guy, had lots of tattoos, was probably about 250 pounds and 6 feet tall. After meeting, I showed Al the car,
really big,
and he looked around at it.
Is that really big? I'm 6'3", 245. That's not really that big, right?
After several minutes, he
I don't think that's that. I've seen bigger. I've seen larger. Way larger.
asked to take it for a test drive. I went with him, and Al drove the car around the block and down some nearby streets. I remember that he said he liked it, and it seemed fine. At that point, I was really thinking that I was going to sell the car that night. After the test drive, we returned to my apartment complex, and he parked the car in the space that it had been before. But then, after we got out of the car, Al just said that he would think about it. I was disappointed, because it seemed like he was going to buy it before. But I just said okay, and then said bye to him. But that's when Al asked me if he could use my bathroom quick. This seemed sketchy.
No.
Why did he think it would be okay with me for him to use my bathroom? I said no thanks and started walking away. To me, I was afraid that it might be some sort of a setup. I didn't want this guy coming into my apartment. He was still kind of standing around by my car, though. My apartment building had a side door and a front door. The side door was not very far away, so I decided to walk to the front. I left Al standing there and headed inside. I was kind of afraid that he was going to follow me, but when I left and got to the front doors, I looked back and didn't see him at all. This made me feel better, and I entered the building. When I got inside, I turned to the right and then entered the elevator. I took it up to the 3rd floor, which is the level that my apartment was on. When I arrived, I stepped off and started walking to the left. But when I did, I saw the door at the end of the hallway open that led to a stairwell. I saw Al entering the hallway. What was he doing here?
Ow!
At first, I started going towards my door, but then saw Al going towards me. I quickly stopped and then turned and started walking in the opposite direction. At that point, I started to hear Al begin to run in my direction. So I started sprinting to the end of the hallway. When I made it there, I went into the stairs on the other side and ran down. As I was going down the stairs, I heard Al enter the stairwell and continued to chase me. Then I went into the underground parking garage beneath the building.
Get out of there.
When I got down there, I ran across it to the other end of the building. I had extended my lead on Al a little bit. I heard him get to the parking garage and keep chasing me though. Then I got to the stairs on the other side and
This nigga gotta be an Olympic athlete. All this running he doing. I would have been tired. I would have let that nigga take my butt.
ran up them to the ground level.
I would have been tired of
then
shit.
left through the side door. After I was out of the building, I ran to my car and got inside.
And drove.
Then I just left and drove away. I called the police while driving off and told them about the man. I drove around the streets nearby for a few minutes and then returned. When I did, Al's car was still there and he was not inside of it. The police got there just a couple of minutes later. I didn't go back inside the building until they did, and when they did, they actually found Al attempting to break into another apartment.
What?
So it turns out he was never interested in buying my car. I guess he was just going to try to rob me or something.
Al, what's up, Al? Al, what are you doing, Al?
One time, I was going to buy a TV on Craigslist.
Oh, this was a fourth story?
Ago.
Right. Fourth
But I
and
would
last
browse
one.
Craigslist at work all the time back then.
These are kind of ass.
Several
though.
times,
I mean, not ass, but
I got
interesting.
really good deals
A little bit.
or things
a little
for
bit,
free.
a little bit.
You never really knew what you would find there. But you also had to be very careful. So I found this really good deal on a nice TV. I was in the market for one, and the ad looked legit. The price was cheap, but not so cheap that it would make me wonder if it was too good to be true. The pictures of the TV appeared to be in somebody's home. I responded to the advertisement and said that I would like to buy the TV if it was still available. Within an hour, I got a text back from the seller saying that it was available. It was a woman who said her name was Joy. She gave me an address and told me to come over
That is a weird ass way to spell joy. That is a weird ass way to spell joy, bitch.
following night to buy the TV.
Alright.
I looked up the address.
Hold on. This just said. Okay, I thought that said Dallas, Texas. Never mind, I'm stupid. I'm slow.
And told me to come over the following night to buy the TV.
Dallas.
I looked up the address, and it appeared to be a house in a neighborhood that was maybe 10 minutes away. So the next day, I got the cash and drove to the address. I parked on the side of the street.
You can't
in
be
front
doing
of the
meetups
house
at people's
in what
houses, bro.
appeared
You gotta
to be
meet up
an
in public
average
places, bro.
neighborhood.
I can't. Nah.
I think it was about 7 p.m.
Nah.
When I knocked on the door, it was quickly answered by a woman.
I mean, she a woman. She is a woman, so she can't. She not really gonna do nothing to him, right? Like, she's a woman. She not really gonna hurt him. I mean, if she could, like, you're a man. Like, just beat the bitch up. Like, I don't, like, come on, like, yeah, she's only a woman. She's not doing that much damage to you, bro. Come on.
She looked.
Unless she had a boyfriend in the back ready to hit you with a hammer. Nah.
Be in her 30s and was about average height with dark hair. She said hi and invited me inside. I stepped into what looked to be the living room of the house. There were boxes around and stuff, as if maybe they were moving. There really wasn't that much furniture, and Joy said sorry that it was a mess, and I said it was fine. She then told me that the TV was in her bedroom. She then led me to the hallway and stopped and opened the door to the bedroom. She said the TV was in there, and I stepped inside. When I did, I noticed that the room appeared to be completely empty though. And right after I got inside, the door slammed shut behind me. It all happened so fast. I looked around and there was no TV in there. I turned back and saw that Joy...
So you look for the TV after she shuts the door? You gotta be the dumbest nigga alive, bro. What?
...had closed the door on me. She hadn't even entered the room. I walked over and tried opening the door, but it was locked from the outside. It was so weird. I knocked on the door and asked Joy what was going on, but she did not answer me. I kept trying the door for a minute or two, bro, and it just wouldn't.
I've broken hinges off doors, nigga. I'm strong, nigga. I'm beefy, nigga. I'm breaking that shit, nigga. I'm
open.
Throw my body in.
Then I was yelling for somebody to open the door, but was getting no response. After realizing that wasn't working, I looked around the room. It was a small bedroom and was completely empty. There was literally no furniture at all. I got out my phone and tried calling my friend, but I was getting no signal in there. I thought that was weird. I tried opening the door and calling for help again, but it was apparent that nobody was going to respond to me. I looked around the room, wondering what on earth was going on. Several minutes into this, and I started to hear noises coming from outside the room. It seemed like they were coming from the living room area. It was Joy and the sound of a man's voice. I couldn't tell what they were saying, but I could just hear that they were talking to each other. I yelled again, but got no response.
Get the fuck up out of here.
After that, I went over to the window and tried to open it. But for some reason, it wouldn't budge. This angered me, and I went back over to the door and started banging on it as hard as I could. I wanted to break the door down. Then I heard a man's voice yelling at me to stop from down the hallway. I didn't know what these people were capable of. I did stop, but just for a moment. Then I took out my phone and found my alarms. I turned my volume all the way up and started playing the most annoying alarm noise. Then I put my phone at the far side of the room. I then walked over and stood just behind the door on the other side of that. Within probably
let me see what you're cooking up, though.
I heard somebody walking towards the room.
I gotta see what.
Then they got right outside the door.
What bro cooking up?
The door then opened and a man walked in. He turned and first started going towards my phone, making all the noise.
I snuffed that nigga.
I came out from around the corner and ran past him, leaving the room. He tried grabbing me at the last second, but I just barely slipped by him. When I ran out of the room, I went down the hallway. Then, when I got to the living room, I saw Joy standing there. She sort of tried.
Nigga, I'm doing some type of football. Bitch, you not getting me, nigga. I'm Randy Moss. Bitch, what? I'm out of there. Bitch, ooh, you ain't see it coming. You ain't. Weave. Oh! Hit the bitch with the spin move. I ain't saying spin move. You not catching me. And she's a woman. Oh my god. Oh my. And bro. Nigga, if that's me, bro. Real shit? Nah, real spill? Nah, hold on. Real spill, bro. Real ish. If that's me, though, and this chair is the woman, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Hold up. She in my way. I'm. Oof, bitch! Fuck out my way. Fuck out my way. What the fuck? Bitch, who are you? You not standing in my way! What you talking about? Bitch, talking about. Like, bro, you see this dumbass bitch? You see this dumbass bitch? Look, you see how stupid she look? bitch. Bro, I pray to God this situation happens to me, and a bitch, and a bitch is standing just like that. Oh. Boom! Come on, nigga. Shoot this shit like this shit matter, nigga. I scored a touchdown, nigga. I hit the LeBron. I hit it. Are you dumb? Are you stupid, bitch? Are you dumb? Look at you. You gripping, daddy? Look at you. You gripping? You gripping, daddy? What you talking about?
Tried to stop me, but I was going too fast and got around her as well. By
around? Nah, fuck around, nigga. Nigga, shoulder to the chest.
And started.
Shoulder to the chest. Bitch is gonna get breast cancer.
To run after me. I opened up the door, and when I was doing so, Joy grabbed at my arm. I just got out the door.
See, this is why you gotta boom, so she wouldn't be there. And niggas is dumb. Why wouldn't you lock the door? See, niggas is bad kidnappers, bro. If I was a kidnapper, I'd be way too smart. Nigga, I'm taking off doorknobs. Fuck.
Though. They were both running towards me, and I sprinted for my car, and luckily still had my keys on me.
Oh, yes, sir.
I unlocked my car, got inside,
lock
and
that
sped
shit
away from
Boom! I'm out
sadly,
of this bitch.
I left my phone, so I couldn't immediately call the police. I stopped at the first gas station that I saw, went inside, and asked an employee to call the police. They got to the gas station, and after talking with police, we went back to the house. They recovered my phone on the side of the street a block up. When they went to the house, nobody was there. I found out that those people did not actually live in the home, and somebody else had been renting it. So I don't know if those two were ever caught. When I looked, the Craigslist post was gone. I just know that I'm never using Craigslist again after that.
Low-key, niggas might lose. I might use Craigslist after that.